After years of waiting, Squid Game is finally back, so let's just jump into it and talk about season 2. Hi, my name's Drew and welcome to another review video on Flying Wiener. Now, if you don't know, I am a really big fan of the first series of Squid Game when it came back. When it came out in, well, I don't even remember what it was. Was it 2021, 2022? I really can't remember. I think it was 2021. It was absolutely massive, and I even watched it through twice. Watched it once on my own, and then I just had to sit my wife down and say, you have to see this. Yeah, I loved it from start to finish. I thought it was incredible, and that was a time when I had also seen more or less, I think shortly before that, Parasite for the first time. So I was really starting to discover Korean cinema and television and discovering just how awesome it is. And yeah, it's a show that I'm sure they themselves to this day can't believe the success it has had since it still is the #1 show that has ever been on Netflix since they have been collecting data, on the numbers, the viewing numbers, etc. So it is really absolutely massive, and not just that, but I think critically as well, the first series of Squid Game is incredible. It's a great dissection of society and how we treat each other. South Korea, it seems, has a particular problem with the, inequality between rich and poor. And there's just so many themes going on. And besides that, it's just a really bonkers show. The idea that you have a group of people competing for a large sum of money, which I think translates to about like $35 million or something like that, doing what is essentially silly children's games, but they end up being deadly. I mean, it's really brilliant. It's so gripping. They turn the really most simple games into nerve-wracking experiences. So I loved every single bit of it in the first series. If you want to know my favourite episode, I think it's episode 7 if memory serves. It's called Ganbu. It's absolutely devastating. It really devastated me. Just watching it, my jaw dropped. By the end of it, I was like, I can't believe this is what we witnessed. It's really, really incredible, really strong stuff. So as you can tell from my retelling of season 1, my expectations were certainly high, and I will admit I was a bit cautious because I'm like, are they going to be able to replicate this? How are they going to do it? Season 1 ended in a very particular way. I mean, we are talking about season 2, so I am expecting that you have seen Season 1, Series 1. If you haven't, I obviously recommend that you see it first, but yes, so I'll be talking about that as well, obviously, because I have to tell you the plot, how it continues on. Yeah, so I was very skeptical. I will say they weren't able to improve in the sense of make an even better series of television, but to be perfectly fair, that was not possible. I don't think it is even remotely realistic that they could have made a series that would have had everyone going, this is an improvement across the board compared to season 1. It's not possible really, because that to me and many other people was already really incredible. But it is still a very, very good series of television, and there's still a lot to like here. Some things are even better, but other things feel a bit like a retread, so we'll talk about that. But just if you're here for the shortest summary, I really enjoyed Series 2 of Squid Game. I think it's absolutely fantastic. We're now in 2025 gonna get what is, I'm assuming, the 3rd and final series. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope it can maintain the high level of quality, because I really want Squid Game from start to finish to be just phenomenal. See, I even got my Squid Game t-shirt out for the review. I didn't bother looking for my Squid Game display, I hope you'll forgive me. But just so you know, I really am a fan of this show. But at the same time, I'm trying to be critical. So let's talk about Series 2. So if you're not familiar with Series 1, it ended with Seung-hyun, who is our main character. He's played by Jung-jae, who by now has garnered even more international fame. He's even been in Star Wars, which is really mind-boggling, but he is an incredible actor. And he returns. He won the first series, and he has decided that he is not just going to, go off into the sunset and just spend his money on whatever. he is actually going to use that money to try and take the games down and the people who make them. So that is his big goal, and the series is set 3 years later. It's taken him 3 years to make it, because as far as I understand, the creator, he never actually expected there to be a continuation of it, but obviously Netflix threw a lot of money at him. It is my understanding that he didn't actually get a lot of money for the first one, so obviously he had quite a bargaining chip. He's like, most successful show ever, maybe you want to give me some more money? Probably the actors as well, all deserving, definitely. So yes, it took them quite some time to make it, although taking 2 to 3 years seems to be getting more and more of a standard nowadays with TV shows. I mean, I'm fine if we get with that. If we get high quality, by all means, but it is a bit, you know, difficult because you really forget what happens. But then again, I suppose it gives you a good excuse to rewatch the previous series or series, you know, if they're multiple. Yes. So, anyway, yes, the story picks up 3 years after the first one, and Gi-hun, he's been, you know, trying to find these people. He's been trying to find, in particular, the guy who first sort of gave him the business card, you know, that directed him to a phone number that he phoned up, and that got him into the games. There's this guy that he plays Dak-chi with, which is this little game they play in the subway where they have to flip over an envelope, which, by the way, is a game that I really want to add to my own personal repertoire, because I've got a taekwondo class that I teach, and I thought if we ever do, you know, fun activities, a silly little festival or something where we've got a range of games, I really need to get that, you know, so that I can make it myself, because I thought it's a really simple concept but really fun to do, I'm sure. Anyway, he's looking for this guy, and he actually enlists the mafia, or I suppose it's supposed to be the mafia. Anyway, South Korean crime boss, right? Him and his cronies. He actually pays them to help him find this guy. So he is desperately trying to find the place. We also have from the first series, there's a policeman who infiltrated a facility. He is still trying to find the island. He survives. I mean, that's not really big of a spoiler. It was kind of obvious at the end of the first series. General rule in television and film, if you don't see them actually die, just expect them to return at some point, which was the case here. Never saw a body, so I was like, yeah, he's going to turn back up again. He's trying to find the island again, because we learned in season 1 that the front man is his brother, right? And so we watch him trying to find the island again. Through certain developments, I won't tell you exactly what happens, but I mean, it's in all the promotional material. Sang Gi-hun, he ends up being back in the games. So he's taking part in them again. And so for about 2/3 of the second series, we're back in the place we know, with the silly bright colours, the insane children's games that can go really, really wrong, all the conflict happening between people, you know, and the soldiers, the front man, all of these things, right? And this is a bit where this is what we want. We want to see this. I mean, I also wanted to see it, but this is also one of the weak points of the show, because it does feel a bit like a retread. You know, we've seen it before. You know, it feels very similar. It feels a bit repetitive in ways, although I will say that the characters, the groups that they've got, they are different. They do introduce a few elements that change it from the first series. I'm not going to tell you in detail what they are, because obviously I feel that you should discover them for yourself. So there are some changes, but it feels a bit samey, right? But there are some really cool characters. One really big change is that we've got one character, and I won't tell you who it is, infiltrating the players, right? So we've got one person from, let's call it the guard side. He is infiltrating the players, and he really directs a lot of things in certain ways, and that I thought was a really cool angle. I still don't understand what the angle is specifically, apart from maybe just sabotaging stuff, obviously. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the third series, where I expect that we will get a more detailed explanation of why this is going on, because the games itself are already deadly just when you've got random people playing them. Why do you actually need to get someone in there to sabotage it? Although I assume it's because they're saying, right, we've got Sang Gi-hun here, he's already played the games, he won them, you know, so maybe we need to sort of bring in an opposite to him. I don't know, I'm not quite sure, but I think it's going somewhere along those ways. But I really like that dynamic, and I love the new people we've got in the group and how they get along. One of them, I suppose I will mention, he is probably the most memorable for most people. He's played by Choi Seung-hyun. His character's name is Thanos. He's this rapper, this Korean rapper, and he's an incredibly annoying git, but at the same time, he's very entertaining. You know, just from our perspective as the people watching, the spectators, he's very entertaining. He's a really nasty piece of work, but he's very entertaining. I will admit, you know. And Choi Seung-hyun, who plays him, he's a real life rapper, so I think that was a good choice, getting someone who is actually in the music business, because it really helps his character, because yeah, the things that he does. I think that definitely improved it with him being an actual musician in real life as well. Yes, there's still a lot of tension, really great scenes, great games, so many scenes that I loved, and so many times where I was watching it together with my wife, I went, no way they're doing this, and what, you know, just surprise. And so they're still able to pull off a lot of the great things that made season 1 so good. A lot of surprising things, a lot of thrilling things, a lot of edge of your seat moments, and you're like, oh God, how is this going to continue? So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it does continue and, well, finish up the story if it is really finishing. So as you can tell, it's still a very positive review from my side. A bit of it feels like a retread, but we've got so many good elements here. It's not in any means a bad show. You know, you've got incredible music as well, which we already had in the first series too. So many good elements, just the way it's shot and everything. I just really like Squid Game. It's such a high production, high value production, and I think that's great. That's what we need. If you had told me 20 years ago, you know, this is what TV is going to look like, I would have said, no way is that possible. You know, I just feel very fortunate that we get this high quality stuff from TV nowadays, and I feel you should watch it as well. That will be all from me today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It is the best way to support this channel. Leave a comment down below about Squid Game, you know, either series, whichever one you want to talk about. You can put some spoilers as well if you want to discuss them, just, you know, maybe point out that they are spoilers. And yeah, are you looking forward to Series 3? Are there other shows out there that you would recommend, especially from South Korea? I would say by now I really am a fan of media that comes from South Korea, because it's usually very interesting stuff. They have an interesting spin on things where we in the West just have a more typical approach to everything, more samey approach to everything. So they put nice twists on things that we expect or know, yeah? So anything you want to say, put it down in the comments below. Well, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one on Flying Wiener. Take care.